The briefing room was filled with the hum of voices and the faint clatter of boots against polished floors. Morning light filtered through the tall windows, glinting off medals and insignias pinned to uniforms that spoke of years of service, blood, and honor. At the far end of the room, a new officer stood quietly, her hands clasped behind her back, her uniform freshly pressed, her posture unshakable. Her nameplate read Captain Elena Ward, but the eyes that swept across her did not see a name. They saw only her youth, her gender, and what they assumed was inexperience. A low chuckle spread across the table, then grew into murmurs. One of the senior officers leaned back, smirking as he muttered words meant to wound. A captain? In that uniform? Must be some kind of joke, the room laughed. Elena didn't. She stood still, unflinching, the faint flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. Not anger, not pride, but the quiet memory of the road she'd walked to earn every stitch of that uniform. They didn't know what she had endured, the deserts she had crossed under enemy fire, the night she led her platoon through an ambush to save 30 men, or the moment she stood in the cockpit of a downed aircraft, bleeding but refusing to eject until the last wounded soldier was clear. They didn't know she had once been declared missing in action for 9 days, surviving on willpower and broken hope. They didn't know her scars because she carried them where no metal could reach, deep inside her heart. To them, she was just another transfer, another young face in a world carved by war and tradition. But for those who had fought beside her, she was the reason they made it home. When the door opened and the general entered, the laughter stopped, but the air remained thick with judgment. He was a man whose authority filled every inch of the room, a leader carved from the old guard, someone who had seen generations of soldiers come and go. His steps were slow, deliberate, his gaze sharp. He scanned the faces around the table, nodding briefly before his eyes landed on her. For a long moment, he said nothing. The room was silent. Then, in a motion that sent a ripple through every soul present, the general straightened, brought his hand to his brow, and saluted her first. The sound of his boots clicking together echoed like thunder. Every head turned. The man who had mocked her rank moments ago froze, his smirk dying on his lips. The general's voice cut through the silence, calm but weighted with something deeper than words. "Gentlemen," he said slowly, "you're standing in the presence of a Medal of Valor recipient, the youngest in Air Force history. If she tells you to follow her, you'd do it before you even think." The weight of his tone sank into every chest. Some lowered their heads in shame, others in awe. Elena simply nodded once, her eyes steady. Though behind that calm was a flood of memories. Brothers lost, friends buried, missions that had cost her more than she would ever admit. As the meeting continued, the air had changed. No one spoke over her now. No one doubted her presence. She gave her report with clarity, outlining a mission plan that was bold, precise, and infused with the kind of insight only experience could teach. Every word carried purpose. Every instruction revealed leadership born not of authority, but of empathy and sacrifice. And though no one dared say it, they all knew they were looking at someone who had paid the price for her place 100 times over. Later that evening, as she stood outside beneath the fading sunlight, she removed her cap and let the breeze touch her face. The base around her buzzed with activity. Jets roaring in the distance, soldiers moving in formation, the hum of duty that never slept. She closed her eyes, remembering faces she'd never see again, the ones who hadn't made it back. She whispered a silent thank you, knowing that her strength was built on their memory. And in that quiet moment she smiled, not because she had been saluted by a general, but because she had finally been seen for what she truly was. Not a rank, not a title, but a survivor, a leader, a legend in her own right. If this story touched your heart, if you felt the courage in her silence and the strength in her scars, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Legends of History. Your support helps keep these stories of bravery and sacrifice alive. Special request: tell us in the comments, what does true respect mean to you?